Now we have Jess. She's already unmuted. Jess is the PowerUp Manager at CyberUp. She's going to tell us all about their program.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I work at a nonprofit called CyberUp. I'll talk more about it in a minute. And I did connect here because I'm a CSTA member. I started this job in the beginning of the summer, but I immediately was like, I want to go to the whatever teacher conference is the most relevant. And so that was great. Yeah, so thank you so much, and we'll move along. So just the focus of this and think about our mission at CyberUp is about making a difference for students and for teachers through cybersecurity. And a lot of the focus today is going to be on our program, PowerUp Cyber Games. All right, so CyberUp, we're a nonprofit whose mission is to cultivate the cybersecurity talent pipeline. We're based in St. Louis, so we're a Midwest organization, and CyberUp works to cultivate the cybersecurity pipeline through adult training and apprenticeships. So that's one side of our work, and also youth engagement. And I sit in the youth engagement side. And so I think, as you all know, because you're here, but cybersecurity is a very quickly growing industry, and it has great opportunities for career advancement and growth. There are more and more jobs every day, and they all require a lot of skill and a lot of computer science background and interest. And according to Glassdoor, the average salary for a cybersecurity analyst is $50,000 to $100,000 a year. And so jobs in cybersecurity are good, and they're going to be around for a long time, and they pay quite well. They just go up from there. Oh, I think there's I didn't take off the animation, so I'm so sorry. But you're welcome to have them. So the cybersecurity industry, as we think of students and what they're in the industry is looking for, are problem solvers, teamwork, lifelong learners, grit and determination, and communication, because it's really the skills and all of this, right? We're teachers, like we know how to teach, we know that kids can learn this stuff, but it's about having an approach to the world that really makes a big difference. And so at CyberUp, we look at that through a lens of PowerUp Cyber Games. So trying to help apply those skills and learn those skills through engaging in cybersecurity through a 6-month cybersecurity competition series to learn and test real-world cybersecurity skills. And it's built for beginner, middle, and high schoolers, right? So it's really for kids who are new to this, who maybe got a little bit of computer science background, but want to check it out and play around and start from the beginning. It goes from October through April. So how it works is we expect 2 to 3 hours a week of practice. We'll get more in the details in a second, to practice some cybersecurity skills, to learn some cybersecurity tools, and then compete once a month against other teams across the country to see how much they know and see how much they can apply it. And it's worked really well in the past for computer science classes, for electives, if you're lucky enough to have that window in your schedule where they let you pick whatever you want to teach. It's worked really well for after school clubs and even independent students who are interested in cybersecurity and want to check it out. They can do this on their own. And the 21 to 22 season begins October 18th, so in just a couple weeks. So the way it works is that a coach, who might be a teacher like you or someone else who's an adult, would guide teams of up to 4 competitors. You could guide 4 teams, if you have a class of 16, if you could guide 1 in an after school club. And so the competitors gain skills in the practice gym, which you'll see in a minute, and test their problem solving abilities. So how it ends up working out is there are 6 topics that are basic core subjects in cybersecurity. There's cryptography, open source intelligence, log analysis, network traffic analysis, Linux, and software security. And everybody has a window of about a month to play around and practice in each subject, and then has a window over the course of a weekend to log in and then have something where they don't have all the tools that they used to have and all the prompts and all the how-to guides, and they have to actually test it out and see what they actually learned. And they work together as a team, logging in all at the same time. Which makes it fun. Whoever hits go first starts the clock. so you better be ready. I always tell them, be ready. So how it's working is so as a teacher, this stuff's really important to me for when I'm looking for something that I would want to do with students. Everything's built out in this practice gym and in this environment because it happens within a browser window that can work on a Chromebook or computer. You don't need special software. You need internet access and something that can get through a browser. Is to be able to have scaffolded modules, to have things so that they're really broken down into individual components, and then also give feedback as you go. So there is integrated assessment into it to see how well the kids are doing. That if you're a coach, you can see all your students all the time and see what they've been working on. I like that. And see how well they did right away in the competition too, and see how the individual kids did. So as a teacher, one of the things I really like about this is if you're new to cybersecurity, that is fine. Everything's really built out so that you don't have to know your way around cybersecurity. Some computer science background is really helpful, but I think we all know that not everybody has a strong computer science background even before they teach computer science. We get into this in a lot of different ways. Because of our CyberUp's other world of working with connecting people to jobs, we have a really big network of industry professionals that we actually connect coaches to industry pros through. We call them our navigators, and they love working with students and helping online to help teams prepare. There are built-in how-to guides. PowerUp CyberUp is actually based on the industry standard for becoming a cybersecurity analyst. It's at a beginner level, but it actually aligns with this CompTIA Security Plus certification. So if you learn this stuff, it is real world application. It's kept up to date. And also aligns with a lot of STEM program funding initiatives that are going on right now for computer science and cybersecurity, which I like. It's easy, it makes it easier to get money for everybody. You know, why not? And I say this because also there is a cost associated with participating in PowerUp Cyber Games. Although we are a nonprofit, we always work to keep costs down for anyone who participates. The baseline cost is $250 per student, but we have scholarships available for Title I schools. We're always open to working to cover funding in other ways because I think that there is STEM money out there. Yep, and you can apply for a classroom grant for, I don't know, is it TRSA, TRSA? I'll let Kristen talk about that, but that is one of the things, right? Because this aligns with STEM program funding initiatives, we're always looking for ways for anyone who wants to participate to cover their costs. I think everything should be free to teachers, but there is money involved, right? But because it is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and because I want you to check something out before you do it, and in time, I actually really would love you to actually play around in the PowerUp Cyber Games practice gym. I didn't want to give a demo right now unless I had a lot of time. I can always show you, but you can actually create your own login. If I've got a minute, I'll show you for a minute, but that's up to Kristen on the timing. Is for you to be able to go ahead and actually
yeah, I think we
make your own login. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you need sharing privileges?
I guess I would need sharing privileges, but that's it. It's just me to screen share, and I'll do that. But I don't ever want to assume there's time.
Minutes.
Okay, this will stop other screen sharing. All right, and I'll show you what you'd be getting into. Yeah, this will be my screen too. All right, cool. So I said that everything works on a browser. So everybody who does this would go in and play around in the PowerUp Cyber Games practice gym. You see Cyber Skyline up there just because that is just the technology partner, because they host some other competitions too, but this is unique to CyberUp and PowerUp Cyber Games when you log in and see this. So it actually shows my progress. I am only 11.3% of the way through everything. I'm working through the first challenge right now. That's how life goes sometimes. You're a couple weeks ahead of everybody, right? So the PowerUp Cyber Games practice gym, all you need is a browser window. I like a computer mouse and a keyboard, you know, that helps. But you get into it and you actually get to see your progress as you go. So you would also see this sort of thing for your own students. I've done the getting started and I'm working through the first challenge, which is cryptography. And I haven't gotten them all right on the first try, but I'm trying my best and I see how that goes. And so the first month's challenge day is cryptography, and that's all like password cracking and code, right? And starting to understand how information is moved from one thing, you know, one form to the next. So the first month, students are going to go in And I did these ones right already. I'm so proud. They go in and they're going to actually work through understanding some password cracking and codes and how information is moved through, like binary, Morse code, and even some historical ciphers and things that were used, say, in like Revolutionary War and before then. And because we want to use current tools as well, there are links and some guides so that students can learn how to actually work through this by not necessarily always doing it on pen and paper themselves, but learning what everybody really used, which is, say, if I was learning how to get through something that is in base 64, it'll actually give me the tool to be able to work through it, and whether or not the students comprehend how this is a useful tool, it will help them do well in the challenge. So if we're actually going into what you were doing before, Pam, is that this builds up in difficulty throughout the month in the practice time, right? And then they'll go ahead and compete. This will turn into a competition at the end of that month before we move on to the next subject. Say open source intelligence, we're talking about the information that's freely available on the internet. They learn a bit about that too. There's a whole lot of information buried in this cute little lamb, and the students start to learn about the information that's shared out there. And then we do get into some basic computer science principles of things like understanding how to work in a terminal and work in a virtual machine, and starting to think about how computers think, but in the context of cybersecurity. And all of this has how-to guides. And we also, we talk about code.org. We're partnering up with cyber.org to have curriculum that's aligned with this as well, so that anyone who wants to work with us, they also get to play around with it with their students in classrooms and have that aligned curriculum that's already been built out by leaders. You know, why would I make my own curriculum when somebody else who's been doing this for 10, 15 years knows their way around it better and can think about how it works best as a tool for the classroom? But you can make your own login. I encourage you to play around in here, see what you can even learn on your own, to think about if this is something you'd want to play around with students and help them out with throughout the year. This tool, just the practice gym on its own, will also be available for teachers to use just without even competition in the spring. So we're a resource for you. I'm done sharing my screen.
Awesome.